Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to Three Count Commentaries. It's your boy Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about Impact Wrestling from February the 2nd, 2021. And I really don't wanna. I don't wanna. I don't want to talk about this show. I've already watched it and taken notes, so I guess I got to. All right, match one: Tasha Steelz versus Havoc. Havoc wins. Then they showed some. It was pretty much big woman, little woman match. Tasha Steelz is really small, couldn't really do too much of anything. She was able to hang in there through cheating and stuff like that, but in the end she lost. And they're doing a reverse next week, so it's going to be Nevaeh versus Kiera Hogan. So Ken Shamrock is out of control. Ken Shamrock is out of control. Last week he's beating up refs and suplexing staff. He even punched out Sami Callihan, who was trying to stop it. So Scott D'Amore said he's suspended indefinitely. And Sami Callihan said, well, good. I was going to fire him anyway. He's out of control. He's attacking people. He punched me out. I was like, okay. I don't know what this means. Ken Shamrock is infinitely more interesting than a lot of the people on this show. He should just be the champion. Not bullshit you not. I don't care how old he is. Shamrock looks legit. His motor probably ain't there, but come on. Let's be real here. I think more people would be I think a lot of people would be very interested to see Ken Shamrock standing face to face with Kenny Omega. That would be like an old bear versus a very, very young beaver. Let's put it like that. Maybe a beaver. Maybe like a weasel. I think an old bear shouldn't have too much problem with a young weasel. So Tommy Dreamer is with Rich Swann, and he's talking about how things have come full circle. And he says, I remember a day when a young 26-year-old gave up his spot to a 55-year-old. And, on the first pay-per-view of this promotion that he loved so much. And Rich Swann was like, yeah, you did do that. You did give up your spot to Terry Funk, didn't you? And he's like, yes, I did. And he's like, well, now it's all come full circle because I'm going to turn 50 and somebody's going to give me a shot at being a world champion. And so then Rich Swann says, like, hey, I know you're a little bit up there in age. I know I want you to be 100% for our match on the 13th. So tonight, let me carry the bulk of the match. And Tommy Dreamer was like, oh, no, don't do that. He's like, no, I got this. We can handle this. We can win. Just let me know. Just let me handle it. And then Tommy Dreamer was like, well, just don't forget, we're a partnership. If we're going to be partners, just remember, if you're in trouble, tag me in. And Rich Swann was like, don't worry, brother. I can do this all night long. It's going to be cool, baby. And there was a little weirdness there with Tommy Dreamer. Now, I'm going to skip to this part here. Because during this match, Matt Striker said Tommy Dreamer is the one guy who, like Ricky Steamboat, never turned his back on the fans. And and it wasn't until he said it that I realized, I don't think I've ever seen a heel Tommy Dreamer. Is that where we're going with this? That would actually make me interested. If Tommy Dreamer turns heel. Because I legit don't remember Tommy Dreamer ever working heel. Now, I know somebody here, somebody listening to the sound of my voice is a Google ninja. Has Tommy Dreamer ever worked heel? I don't think he's ever worked heel. I watched a lot of ECW. Tommy Dreamer has never worked heel in ECW. And I don't think he worked heel in WWE either. I think he's kind of gross and stupid, but I don't think he was a heel. Could they get away with turning Tommy Dreamer heel at 50 years old? Maybe. I think that would be interesting if Tommy Dreamer was to cheat and win the title. I said to one of my subscribers earlier, I think they should just give the belt to Tommy Dreamer. I'm willing to give the belt to anybody other than Swann at this point. I'm ready to just throw the belt in the air and whoever catches it, like when you play with kids, they play pick 'em up, fuck 'em up, where you throw the football in the air or whatever, and whoever grabs it gets hit. I'm ready to do that with the Impact World Title just to get rid of Rich Swann. But that's a very interesting thing. That are we looking at Tommy Dreamer maybe turning heel? And then there was a seed planted here, and there's a seed planted in the tag team match, but we'll get there in a moment. So Gallows and Anderson talked about how great it is to be main event guys, and then they shielded the AEW show for Wednesday night. And they said they may screw Private Party out of the Battle Royal. because they don't like those guys and they don't see why why they should win and get title shots and all this type of stuff. So then James Storm showed up. He was angry about the way that these two guys treat Chris Sabin. And he talks about, look, it's not about, being a tag team champions. It's about respect. You guys don't treat Chris Sabin with respect. And then they said Chris Sabin's a loser. He said, Carl Anderson called him a loser. And then James Storm said, okay, look, either you guys give us a rematch next week or we can take it to the parking lot right now. And, they were like, wait a minute, we got a big main event coming up on Wednesday Night Dynamite. We can't go out there and fight you two guys. And James Storm just kind of looked at it and was like, look, it's either or. You can go into your big Dynamite match, beat up, or you can give us the match next week. And then so the Good Brothers, capitulated and said that they will give them a rematch next week. So you got the match set up for next week. So that's fine, I guess. Whatever. Then Madman Fulton did the JOB for Josh Alexander. I like Josh Alexander. He's pretty good. I think he needs to work on his some presentation. I think that the goddamn wrestling helmet that needs to go. Like he needs to put some spice on this thing he's got going here. So then we got Brian Myers, and Brian Myers does a promo. He's talking about how he blames himself for this eye patch that he's wearing now. And he says he's wearing this eye patch because this is his own fault. And he says that he put himself in this position. Then he talked about how Eddie Edwards used to be a worker's worker. Yeah, he was trained by one of the best, Killer Kowalski, and said that Killer Kowalski would be rolling in his grave if he was to see what Eddie Edwards has become. He's become a backyarder, a deathmatch, idiot, and all that type of stuff. And then Eddie Edwards came out there and attacked him, just beat him up. And then Brian Myers was about to say that he would love to step in the ring with him during No Surrender and beat his ass, but he's about to pull out a doctor's note. And while Eddie Edwards is beating him up, Hernandez came out there, and Hernandez pulled Eddie Edwards off of Brian Myers, and then he beat him up. So then we find out that Brian Myers has kind of hired Hernandez to be a bodyguard or, something like that. But Hernandez will be facing Eddie Edwards at No Surrender. And I squealed with joy because that's a dream match. I couldn't imagine a match I wanted to see more than Hernandez versus Eddie Edwards. I mean, I love it, right? So then Matt Cardona ran out there and he saved Eddie Edwards. And later, Eddie Edwards says that he wanted to go to Scott D'Amore and make it a tag team match. And Mike Cardona said, well, that would be cool with him. I saw recently Matt Cardona did an interview, and he basically talked about why he's not officially signed to Impact, but he likes the freedom of wanting to just do his own thing. And he talked about being under contract for WWE. He's under contract for 14 years, and there's so many limitations of what you can do as far as putting out T-shirts and media and different stuff like that. And he says it feels good for him to not have to do that stuff. So he likes doing the per appearance thing for right now. And I think that's very interesting. I actually like that, that this guy says, hey, I was locked down, for 14 years, in these limiting contracts. And he says it would be great to be Impact World Champion and everything, but, I want to be able to do my own thing. And I don't need a contract right now. I just need somewhere that I can keep showing up and doing my thing. And I think this is great for him. Hell, make him the champion. Why not? Just give him the shot. I mean, he's only 34. I mean, apparently it's a big deal in wrestling now. How old you are matters so much. I don't know why all the champions aren't 17 all of a sudden. I mean, got to think of the future of the business. All the champions should be 17. Just random number. I came off the top of my head because that's all we're talking about here is random numbers. All right, so Johnny Swinger, we're in Johnny Swinger's club now. And Johnny Swinger's, you got Johnny Bravo working the blackjack table, followed by, and some other young lady are there. And they keep losing. And Johnny Swinger has this gigantic roll of money. And Johnny Bravo is making minimum wage working for Johnny Swinger. And this young lady says that Johnny Bravo deserves a raise. And Swinger was like, no way, daddy. She's no way, daddy. This and that Johnny Bravo chose somebody else to be his best man over Johnny Swinger, so he's lucky to have a job. And then the lady was like, it seems like we just always stuck in Johnny Swingers, like it feels like Groundhog Day. And then followed by, I was like, yeah, it does feel like Groundhog Day. I don't know where we're going here, but I think we're about to do a stupid Groundhog Day thing where they're going to keep reliving the same day over and over again. Look, Impact can't get worse. They can just throw as much they can throw dog shit, pony shit, horse shit all against the wall. It's all shit at the end of the day. None of it's going to make this show any better. This show just needs a complete and total reboot. So Crazy Steve loses to Larry D in a match that was set up the previous week because Larry D punched Crazy Steve in the face because he was mad at Rosemary. Rosemary is the one who put a spell on him. It turned him into Lawrence D, which made him shoot Johnny Bravo. And because these two guys are gentlemen, they don't hit women. When Rosemary came into the ring and started hissing at them, they ran away. And then later they said that they were not afraid of Rosemary, but they don't like to hit women. They don't fight women. And so Tenille Dashwood offered to fight Rosemary on their behalf. So Tenille Dashwood will fight Rosemary at No Surrender. Okay, cool. Then we get a Trey Miguel promo. Trey Miguel is explaining, hey, what he's going to do in Impact, why he chose to separate from his boys. And Trey Miguel says, since before he came to Impact, he had these two crutches. And that, while his whole time in Impact, he had these two crutches. And that he wanted to show the world that he can stand on his own and that he can always stand on his own. And there's no better time than now. I'm like, okay, cool. I like that. And that's kind of what I figured was happening. These guys are young. These MSK and Trey Miguel, the Rascals. These guys were young. They can't be tethered together their whole careers. These guys are, I don't even think they're 30 yet, so it's cool for him to do his own thing. I actually liked his promo here. He had some really good intensity, but he actually kicked it up a notch when Sami Callihan showed up. They did the little Sami Callihan thing, and Callahan's hand was on his shoulder, and he snatched it off, and he jumped up and got in Callahan's face, and he was really angry and really aggressive. Like, that was something else. He was like nose to nose with Callahan, and he said, "Get off me, I'll knock you out right now." I was like, oh shit. So Sammy was like, you need to calm down. So he sat down and kind of started talking to Trey. Started saying that, these guys your two friends have been gone for a cup of coffee. You already throwing them under the bus. You don't have any loyalty. And he says you got all the skills and the talent to make it in the wrestling business, the professional wrestling business. But you're never going to make it in Impact Wrestling because you don't have any loyalty. And he said you need that to succeed. And he said you also don't need any passion. And then Trey Miguel got in his face again. So don't you ever question my passion. He's like, hey, calm down. And he says that, you need to figure out what you're fighting for and what you're doing. I'm gonna give you some time to think about that. And then he kind of walked away. And I thought this was really interesting. It wasn't that Trey was downplaying them. He's basically saying that he leaned on these guys a lot and that he doesn't need them, and he wants everybody to know that he doesn't need them. But I like that they're trying to, they dig in a little bit with the passion and the loyalty. These are concepts that are very, very important. And I like that. And it's also, of course, makes Sami Callihan a hypocrite because he's the one who said earlier that he was going to fire Ken Shamrock anyway. He's the one who wound Ken Shamrock up to turn him into this beast who just attacks people for seemingly no reason. And then when he lost control of him, he kind of wanted Ken Shamrock gone. Which is, of course, a Frankenstein story, that you eventually lose the control of the monster you created. Which is, a lot of people fall into that. They don't know it. A lot of people fall into that old trope. Anyway, the next match was Susan versus Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace won the match. Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly interfered a lot. didn't do him any good, but they interfered a lot. After the match, Kimberly and Deonna Purrazzo jumped Jazz and Jordan Grace and was beating them down. And then ODB came out there to help. She ran down there, helped fight him off. Then in a later segment, ODB, was saying, "Hey, my food truck was out back, and I was just, hanging out, and I poked my head in to see what was going on in here, and I see some bullying going on, so I decided to come in and help you guys." And then Jazz was like, "Are you coming back?" And then ODB was like, "Well, maybe." And I'm like, "Okay, look, she's already announced on, I think, social media she's coming back." But whatever. So Private Party was upset about Chris Sabin and James Storm getting a title shot before them. Matt Hardy assured them that this match was rock solid. They were going to get the match regardless of who won. So they have a guaranteed number one contenders match. Then they shield the AEW Dynamite show the next day for a Wednesday show. And how much money they got. And there's bonuses, aka bounties, on all these titles. And that he wants these titles for these guys. And he wants them to be double tag team champions. That's cool and all, but yeah, whatever. So we get a paid ad by Tony Khan, which features Tony Khan with a cocktail in his hand and Tony Schiavone with a shark on his head. And I could not take any more. I cannot take any more of this effeminate shit. This is horrible stuff. And he's in here talking about this is the most exciting 3 minutes of the show is his paid ads. And that, I'm making emotional decisions because I'm an emotional decision maker. And he also said that I'm a shark. I'm a shark like that thing on Tony Schiavone's head. And I was just like, he kept talking about this is his fantasy league. This is just a fantasy league. And we're going to put the game on pause for a week so that we can party at beach break. And I was like, hell no, man. Whose man's is this? Oh, whose guy is this? Like, this is your boss? This sucks. And I know I've been saying that for a while, and it's kind of hard to differentiate this one is real bad. Tony Khan needs a testosterone transplant. I don't see how he can run a wrestling promotion with this amount of sissy in him. And I don't mean like, he's just weak. It's just weak. Like, he doesn't even look intimidating. He doesn't sound intimidating. It's a joke. And then Schiavone is standing there with a shark on his head. This shit was embarrassing. He should be embarrassed. If we're being serious, he should be embarrassed. And I don't know why we got to go through this, man. We need to stop it. So the fifth match was Rohit Raju versus TJP. Rohit Raju actually won the match because Mahabali Shera reappears and joined Rohit Raju, and so I'm like, okay, I like Shera when he's being serious, not dancing and being stupid. So make Shera the champion. Fuck it, why not? I mean, God, it had the guy on the roster for like a decade. For fuck's sake, give him the big push. Let Rohit be his mouthpiece or something. I hate Rohit. He's so boring. But maybe he could work as Shera's mouthpiece or something. These two, of course, have history. They were a part of the tag team with the rest of the Indian guys, which is all fine and dandy. Shera is fine. I know he's not a great wrestler, but he's a huge physical specimen. He looks like a fucking champion. He looks like a guy who might be tough in a pit fight. If I was putting together a movie and I was casting like a gigantic warrior, I would pick a guy that looks like Mahabali Shera. And because of that, and because Impact doesn't have anybody else that fits the description, he should be the fucking champion. Who cares if he can't have a great match? Who gives a fuck? I think that if people was to see him, they would say, oh my God, who is this giant Indian? He looks like a badass. And that would be good enough. He could limp his way through a fucking match. Who cares? He could be a wall that people bounce off of. We don't need great wrestlers who look like shit. We need maybe shitty wrestlers that look great. How about just trying that for a minute? Anything to do better than this shit. So the next promo we get is from Eric Young and Violent by Design, where he's discussing why they extended an olive branch to Cousin Jake. So he says that Violent by Design is a family. Cousin Jake is family. And that not everybody can be saved, and they're not going to try to save everybody. So he's going to give Cousin Jake some time to decide whether he's going to join them or not. Just give him something to think about. So then later, Cousin Jake says that, hey, he doesn't know what to think, and he can't give them an answer right now. He'll give them an answer next week. So then the main event of the show was Chris Bay and Moose defeating Rich Swann and Tommy Dreamer. And Moose actually pinned Rich Swann. Tommy Dreamer was about to get speared. He moved out of the way, and he spears Rich Swann, and Rich Swann gets pinned. So we got a situation here where maybe Tommy Dreamer is kind of led Rich Swann into losing, where he he dodged Moose, but in dodging Moose, he kind of gave him a little bit of a push. So maybe he sort of put some emphasis on it, and they still got beat up after the match. Like Tommy Dreamer got beat up right along with Rich Swann. So maybe I'm overthinking it, but it was mentioned in this match that Tommy Dreamer had never turned his back on the fans. Let's put it like that. So this ought to be interesting. Rich Swann, of course, lost because who cares? Moose beat the world champions. Like, so did Kenny Omega. So what? So what? So what? He shouldn't be the champion. Fuck. Give anybody the belt. I'm really ready to just do anything with that Impact title except let Rich Swann carry it. If he could do something as simple as cut his hair and change his theme song and change his attitude and everything, that would have been so much better. But we're stuck with what we're stuck with. We gotta paint with the colors we're given. So let me know what you guys think of Impact Wrestling by spreading the hashtag 3count commentaries. You support the channel. You want to buy me a shawarma? I desperately need it now. I desperately need protein. So a chicken shawarma would be so great. Feel free to send me $6, $5, or maybe 5 people can send me $1. The $1 challenge, and I'd appreciate that. Thank you guys for your time in any event. Hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah.